Michael Duran navigated the rugged terrain of Thalos with cautious optimism. The untouched landscape, vibrant with bioluminescent plants, seemed to pulse with unseen life. As he entered a large cave, his flashlight beam fell upon a figure unlike any he had documented before. Standing before him was Lirael, her skin shimmering subtly in the cave's dim light. She looked as startled as he felt, her large, expressive eyes reflecting a mixture of curiosity and wariness. "Hello," Michael said slowly, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. Lirael tilted her head, observing him, her response a gentle hum, melodic and calming. She stepped closer, her movements graceful and fluid. "Do you understand me?" Michael tried again, his voice a mix of hope and doubt. Lirael repeated the hum, this time extending her hand palm up as if to mimic his greeting. Michael took a cautious step forward and gently placed his hand in hers. Her touch was cool and smooth, unlike any human's, sending a ripple of surprise through him. "This is incredible," Michael murmured, mostly to himself. He withdrew a small device from his pocket, aiming to record the encounter. Lirael's eyes followed the device with a keen interest. Seeing her curiosity, Michael smiled and explained, "This records pictures and sounds. Here, see?" He turned the device to show her a playback screen, which displayed her illuminated image. Lirael leaned in, her eyes wide with wonder, then back at Michael. She touched the screen lightly, then her own face, as if connecting the dots. "Picture," she said, the word awkward but clear. "Yes, picture. You're quick to learn," Michael responded, his excitement growing. He pointed to himself. "Michael." "Michael," Lirael echoed with a slight trill in her voice. Encouraged by her attempt to communicate, Michael spent the next few hours exchanging basic words. As the night deepened, they sat at the cave's entrance, looking out at the glowing flora. Lirael seemed more at ease, her initial caution fading into a quiet companionship. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Michael said, gesturing to the glowing landscape. "Beautiful," Lirael repeated, her gaze lingering on the view before shifting back to him. There was a moment of silence as they sat close, the barrier of strangeness slowly dissolving. In a sudden surge of bravery, Michael turned to face her. May I kiss you?" he asked, his voice a whisper. Lirael looked at him, her expression thoughtful, then nodded slightly. Michael leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away, but she didn't. Their lips met in a gentle, exploratory kiss, her lips cool and slightly tingling against his. It was a kiss unlike any he'd ever experienced, filled with the thrill of the unknown and the sweetness of new discovery. As they parted, Lirael breathed out a word that he hadn't taught her, one filled with emotion. "More." Michael smiled, his heart racing with a mixture of joy and disbelief. "Yes, more," he agreed, his mind racing ahead to all the possibilities. They continued to explore each other's expressions and touches, each moment building a bridge between two vastly different beings. The night passed in a blur of shared discoveries and whispered words. As dawn approached, they lay together, wrapped in a shared warmth, exploring the new love they found. Lirael whispered again into the quiet, her voice a soft melody in the cool air of Thalos. "I want more, please." And in the silent affirmation of their intertwined fingers, Michael knew that this was just the beginning. The morning after their first encounter, Michael and Lirael woke to the soft ambient light filtering through the cave entrance. The air was fresh and crisp, the night's revelation still hanging tenderly between them. "Good morning," Michael said, his voice soft, watching Lirael stir beside him. "Good morning," Lirael replied, practicing the phrase she had learned just hours before. Her pronunciation was careful, each word a delicate mimicry of Michael's. They shared a quiet breakfast consisting of rations from Michael's pack and some edible flora Lirael had gathered. The meal was simple, but the act of sharing food added another layer to their rapidly forming bond. "Today, I can show more," Lirael suggested, her eyes bright with the excitement of sharing her world. "I'd love that," Michael responded enthusiastically, his curiosity about her and this planet growing by the minute. As they walked through the lush landscapes of Thalos, Lirael pointed out various plants and their uses. Some were medicinal, others were nutritional, and a few were simply beautiful. Michael recorded everything, but his gaze often returned to Lirael. admiring her ease and grace in her natural surroundings. "Thylos, home," Lyrael said, spreading her arms wide as if to embrace the land around her. "It's beautiful," Michael agreed, his hand brushing against hers as they walked. Their fingers intertwined naturally, a comfortable gesture that seemed to seal their newfound intimacy. As the day progressed, they found a rhythm in their interactions. Lyrael was a quick study, picking up English at a remarkable pace, and she seemed delighted every time Michael attempted to pronounce words in Thalassian. Their laughter echoed through the woods, a sound as natural as the bird calls overhead. In a quiet clearing surrounded by towering trees with luminescent leaves, Lyrael stopped and turned to Michael. "Here, special place," she said, her voice hushed in reverence. Michael looked around, taking in the beauty of the spot. "It feels magical," he said. Lyrael nodded, then reached out to trace a line along Michael's jaw. Her touch was light, exploratory, and filled with the tenderness that had characterized their interaction since their first kiss. Michael's heart skipped a beat as he leaned into her touch, closing his eyes to savor the moment. "Michael, feel safe," Lyrael murmured, her words heavy with emotion. "I feel safe with you too, Lyrael," Michael replied, his own voice thick. He pulled her closer, enveloping her in a warm embrace. They stood like that for a long time, simply holding each other, their hearts beating in a silent symphony of mutual trust and affection. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the land, Michael and Lyrael settled back in the cave. Their conversation turned to deeper topics, exploring each other's pasts, dreams, and fears. "Before you, loneliness. Big," Lyrael confessed, her eyes reflecting the flickering light of the campfire. "I know what that's like," Michael said, squeezing her hand. "But now, we have each other." "Yes, together," Lyrael agreed, a smile curving her lips. They ended the day as they had begun it, wrapped in each other's arms, exchanging gentle kisses and soft whispers. The phrase, "I want more, please," had become a tender affirmation of their desire to deepen the bond they had formed under the strange stars of Thalos. Each touch and kiss was a promise of more to come, a future they would build together on this alien world. As the days turned into weeks, Michael and Lyrael's routine on Thalos evolved into a comfortable rhythm. Each sunrise brought new lessons and discoveries, deepening their connection. On one particular evening, they ventured further than before, climbing a small hill that overlooked the illuminated forest and the glittering waters of a nearby lake. Settling down on the soft grass, they watched as the twin moons of Thalos rose, casting a surreal glow over the landscape. The stars seemed to dance just for them, an audience to their burgeoning relationship. "Michael, there is something I need to tell you," Lyrael began, her voice softer than the night breeze. Michael turned to her, his expression open and encouraging. "Anything, Lyrael. I left my people because I was different. Curiosity is not valued among us, conformity is. I always wanted to explore, to learn, to feel more than was allowed," she confessed, her luminous eyes reflecting the stars above. Michael listened intently, his hand finding hers in the dark. "You're brave. It's not easy to leave everything behind for the unknown." Lyrael nodded, her gaze locked with his. "But I found you. It makes the leaving worthwhile." The honesty in her words struck a chord in Michael. He felt his own isolation mirror hers, his departure from Earth driven by a similar restlessness, a similar need to find something more. "Lyrael, I've been alone for a long time too. Out here I hope to find new worlds, new possibilities. I didn't expect to find someone," Michael admitted, his voice thick with emotion. Lyrael moved closer, her presence a comforting warmth. "You are my new world, Michael." Overwhelmed by her words, Michael leaned in and kissed her, a kiss that mingled promise with passion. Their hearts spoke a language older than words, a language of souls recognizing each other across the vastness of space. As the night deepened, they shared stories of their lives, their hopes, and their fears. Each story served to weave their lives more tightly together, the stars, their silent witnesses. "Do you ever miss your home?" Michael asked, tracing patterns on Lyrael's arm. "Sometimes, but I have found a new home. Here." With you, she responded, her hand resting over his heart. I want more of this, Lyrael. More of us, Michael said earnestly, the stars twinkling above. I want more, please, Lyrael whispered back, using the phrase that had become their tender symbol of love and longing. Their evening under the stars turned into a night of gentle exploration, their bodies learning each other's contours and rhythms. The touch of her skin, the feel of his hands, their breaths mingling in the cool night air, all of it felt like discovering the universe anew. Wrapped in each other's arms, they eventually fell asleep under the vast Thalos sky, dreaming of the infinite possibilities that lay ahead, together on this alien world, where love was their greatest discovery. After their heartfelt evening under the stars, Michael and Lyrael returned to their daily exploration with a renewed sense of closeness. Today, they planned to explore the lower regions of the Thalosian jungles, where the flora was dense and the air was rich with the scent of alien blossoms. As they walked through the lush undergrowth, Lyrael pointed out a particularly vibrant plant with flowers that seemed to pulse with light. This one is very special, she explained, her fingers brushing gently against the petals. It senses touch and responds with light, much like us. Michael watched as the plant glowed brighter at Lyrael's touch. He reached out, mirroring her action. The flower's light intensified, creating a beautiful luminescence around their hands. The metaphor wasn't lost on him. He smiled at Lyrael, who returned his grin with a sparkle in her eyes. It's beautiful, Michael said, how it responds so vividly to touch. It's like it's alive, aware. Yes, everything here connects. Touch, light, life, Lyrael replied, her gaze lingering on their intertwined hands. She then turned to him, a curious tilt to her head. May I? Without waiting for an answer, she reached up to touch Michael's face, her fingers tracing the lines of his jaw with the same wonder she afforded the plant. Her touch was light, but filled with a deep exploration of sensation. Michael's skin tingled where her fingers moved, a warm flush spreading across his face. Feeling emboldened, Michael returned the gesture, his hands exploring the unique texture of her skin. It was unlike anything he had ever felt, smooth and slightly luminescent, soft yet resilient. Each touch seemed to deepen their connection, bridging their worlds through the simple, profound act of tactile understanding. Your skin, it's amazing, Michael murmured, his fingers tracing down her neck and along her shoulders. Lyrael laughed softly, a sound that sent shivers down his spine. And yours is very warm. I like it. They continued their trek, but the mood had shifted to something more intimate, more attuned. They spoke little, letting their touches communicate their feelings as they shared the sensory experiences of the jungle. As they reached a secluded glen, surrounded by towering trees whose leaves created a natural dome, Lyrael stopped and turned to face Michael fully. Here, in this place, I feel more myself than anywhere else, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Michael felt the weight of her words, understanding that this was not just a physical journey for Lyrael, but an emotional one as well. He stepped closer, reducing the space between them, his hands resting on her hips. And I'm grateful you're sharing it with me, he said, leaning in to kiss her gently. The kiss deepened, driven by the emotions stirred by their shared journey and the tranquil beauty of their surroundings. It was a kiss that spoke of mutual discovery and the deepening of feelings, a melding of human and alien that felt as natural as the ecosystem around them. They spent the afternoon in the glen, exploring not only the beauty around them, but also each other. Each touch, each kiss, was a learning experience, teaching them more about each other's responses, desires, and emotions. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with colors that only Thalos could offer, they lay together on a bed of soft moss, wrapped in each other's arms. The connection they shared was palpable, as if the very planet itself was acknowledging their union. I want more, please, Lyrael whispered into the twilight, her words a soft echo in the quiet glen. And more we shall have, Michael replied, his voice filled with promise, as the stars began to emerge overhead, witnesses once again to their growing love. In the weeks that followed, Michael and Lyrael's relationship deepened into a profound bond that seemed to transcend their physical differences. They continued their explorations of Thalos, each day discovering new aspects of the planet and of each other. One afternoon, as they rested in a field of softly glowing flowers, Lyrael shared more about her people's ways of connecting, which were primarily intellectual rather than emotional. "We bond through the exchange of thoughts and memories. It's less about feelings and more about understanding," she explained, her voice tinged with a mixture of fondness and frustration. Michael, intrigued, asked, "Could you show me how you share memories?" Lyrael hesitated, a subtle uncertainty crossing her features. "It is intimate, more than any touch. Are you sure?" "I want to understand you completely," Michael reassured her, his tone earnest. Nodding, Lyrael took his hands, closing her eyes. "Just relax and open your mind." Michael did as instructed, a bit anxious but trusting. He felt a gentle pressure in his mind, like the softest whisper of wind, and then, suddenly, he was seeing memories, but not his own. He saw Lyrael as a child, her luminous skin barely distinguishable from the bioluminescent plants surrounding her. He felt her curiosity as she explored forbidden zones of her homeworld, and her loneliness in a society that valued conformity over individuality. The experience was overwhelming, filled with emotions and thoughts that were not his own, yet felt intensely personal. When the connection ended, he was left breathless, his heart full of empathy and admiration for the alien woman beside him. "Wow, that was incredible. I felt what you felt," Michael managed to say, his voice full of awe. Lyrael smiled, a touch of relief in her expression. "And I felt your openness, your acceptance. It means more than you know." Moved by the depth of their shared experience, Michael leaned in and kissed her, a kiss filled with all the gratitude and love he felt. They spent the rest of the day exchanging not just touches, but emotions and thoughts, deepening their bond in a way that words alone could never achieve. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the land, they talked about what a future together might look like. Michael shared his dreams of continuing his explorations with Lyrael by his side, while she expressed a tentative hope of perhaps visiting Earth, curious about the world that had shaped him. "The more we share, the more I realize how much there is to learn about you, about us," Michael said, his hand tracing a line along her arm. "I want more, please," Lyrael responded, her voice soft but determined, echoing the phrase that had become their shared vow of continuing discovery and mutual exploration. That night, under a canopy of stars, they made love again, each touch and kiss a reaffirmation of their commitment to each other. Their physical union was a mirror of the mental and emotional one they had experienced earlier, each movement and caress a word in the ongoing dialogue of their hearts. As they lay together, wrapped in each other's arms and the serene silence of the Thalos night, the boundary between their two worlds seemed to blur and fade. They were no longer just a human and an alien. They were Michael and Lyrael, two souls intertwined by love, curiosity, and a thirst for the knowledge of what it meant to be truly together. In the ensuing days, Michael and Lyrael's connection blossomed into a deep, unspoken language of love and mutual understanding. Their daily routines were punctuated with both playful and profound moments, each serving to strengthen the bonds they had begun to weave. On one particularly warm evening, as they returned to their favorite spot by the glowing river, the atmosphere was ripe with the fragrance of Thalos's nocturnal flowers. The setting was perfect for another intimate night, and they both felt the palpable tension of desire between them. Lyrael, more comfortable now with human expressions of affection, took the initiative. She reached for Michael, pulling him close with a gentle yet eager grasp. Her touch, always so intriguing to him, sparked an immediate response. "Michael, I want more," Lyrael whispered into his ear, her breath warm and her tone laden with both need and affection. "More?" Michael asked, a playful smirk forming on his lips, understanding her reference not just to their physical closeness, but to the emotional and intellectual sharing they had experienced. "Yes, please," Lyrael breathed out, the words becoming their shared signal of deepening their intimacy. Their kisses started slow and deep, full of the promises they had made and the feelings they continued to explore. Michael's hands roamed over Lyrael's back, tracing the unique contours of her alien form, each touch a sentence in their ongoing dialogue of discovery. Lyrael responded with equal fervor, her hands exploring Michael's human features with a curiosity that had never waned. Their mutual exploration was a dance of shadows under the starlit sky, accompanied by the soft murmur of the flowing river. As they deepened their embrace, laying down on the soft banks of the river, their physical connection mirrored the emotional and intellectual bonds they had nurtured. Every touch, every kiss, was a reaffirmation of their commitment to each other, a celebration of the love they had cultivated in this alien world. The night air was cool, but their shared warmth was more than enough to stave off any chill. The stars overhead witnessed their union, a testament to the power of love that crossed species and worlds. "Every moment with you is a discovery," Michael murmured, as he caressed Lyrael's face, watching the way the moonlight played across her features. "And every touch is a story," Lyrael replied, her voice a whisper of contentment and desire. They continued to explore each other, their movements becoming more passionate and assured as the night deepened. The phrase, "I want more, please," was whispered numerous times, each utterance a request for further closeness, further unity. As dawn approached, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Michael and Lyrael lay entwined, the afterglow of their love enveloping them like a soft blanket. They spoke of plans and dreams, of explorations yet to come, and of the infinite ways they could learn and grow together. The promise of more understanding, more exploration, more love, was as bright as the coming sunrise. In Lyrael's arms, Michael found not just a partner but a soulmate, someone who challenged and cherished him in equal measure. And in Michael's embrace, Lyrael found the freedom and love she had always sought, a bond that transcended the stars themselves. Their journey was just beginning, but they knew that together there was nothing they could not face. As Michael and Lyrael's relationship deepened, the reality of their differing origins began to cast a long shadow over their idyllic existence on Thalos. Michael's mission had a timeline, and his eventual return to Earth loomed large. The tranquility of their morning was tinged with the unspoken knowledge of these encroaching responsibilities. One crisp morning, as they walked along the banks of the luminescent river, Michael broke the silence. "Lyrael, we need to talk about the future. My team will be back for me soon." Lyrael stopped walking, her expression turning solemn. She had always known this moment would come, yet she hoped for more time. "What do we do, Michael?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Michael took her hands in his, the familiar touch a small comfort amid the uncertainty. "I've been thinking about this a lot. There's a part of me that never wants to leave Thalos. Or you." Lyrael's eyes brightened slightly, hope flickering within. "And the other part?" "The other part knows I have duties back on Earth. But," he paused, searching her eyes, "what if those duties could wait? What if I chose to stay here with you, at least for a while longer?" The possibility hung between them, daring and daunting in equal measure. Lyrael squeezed his hands, the weight of her decision evident in her grip. "To stay would mean so much, Michael. But your life, your family and friends, are you ready to leave them behind?" "It's not about leaving them," Michael explained, his tone resolute. "It's about choosing where I belong, and I belong with you, here, right now. This," he gestured to the world around them, "is where I want to be." Tears welled up in Lyrael's eyes, not of sadness, but of overwhelming love and gratitude. "Then let's make the most of our time together. Whether it's for a while or forever, I want to be with you." They embraced, the river's gentle flow mirroring the peace that settled over them. The decision to stay was not made lightly, but it was made together, a testament to the strength of their bond. As the day progressed, they made plans. Michael would communicate with his team, explaining his decision to extend his stay for further research. It was a risk, but one he was willing to take for the chance at more days, more nights, more life with Lyrael. The rest of the day was spent in a blissful haze. They returned to their favorite spots, each location a memory in the tapestry of their shared life. As they lay under the stars that night, Michael whispered into the quiet, I want more, please." Lirael responded in kind, her voice steady and sure. "And more you shall have." Their hearts were full, their choice made. The future was uncertain and fraught with potential challenges. But as long as they faced it together, they felt invincible. The stars above Thalos shone brightly, as if blessing their decision, and under their watchful gaze, Michael and Lirael drifted into sleep, their dreams intertwined with the possibilities of tomorrow. You said, the decision to stay with Lirael on Thalos marked the beginning of a new chapter in Michael's life. As he informed his superiors of his intent to extend his stay for in-depth cultural research, they expressed concerns, but ultimately granted him a provisional extension. Michael's heart swelled with relief and excitement. He had been granted the time he desperately wanted, time to explore a life with Lirael beyond the confines of his original mission. The morning after his decision, Michael and Lirael stood together watching a Thalos sunrise, the sky a canvas of vibrant colors that seemed to celebrate their choice. "It's a new beginning, isn't it?" Lirael observed, her voice filled with wonder and hope. "It is," Michael agreed, squeezing her hand, "and every sunrise will remind us of today, of this decision to choose each other, to choose love." With the immediate future settled, they ventured deeper into their relationship and the mysteries of Thalos. Lirael took Michael to places he had never seen before, hidden valleys and towering cliffs that offered breathtaking views. Each sight was a revelation, each moment together a deeper dive into the bond they shared. They spent days mapping uncharted territories, nights discussing their dreams and aspirations. Lirael spoke of her desires to perhaps visit Earth one day, to see the world that had shaped Michael, while he shared his fantasies of writing a book about their experiences, a story of interstellar love and discovery. As weeks turned into months, their life together became a beautiful routine. They built a small home by the river, using materials that blended naturally with the environment. It was a modest structure, but every inch was filled with love and a sense of belonging. Their home became a symbol of their commitment, a place that was uniquely theirs. One evening, as they sat by the fire in their new home, Michael pulled out a small handmade book. "I've been keeping a journal," he revealed, his cheeks tinted with a shy pride. "It's about us, about this incredible journey." Lirael took the book with a gentle reverence, turning the pages filled with Michael's neat handwriting and sketches of Thalos's flora and fauna. "This is beautiful, Michael. It's our story, and I want to keep adding to it with you. There's so much more to write, so much more to live," Michael said, his eyes gleaming with emotion. Lirael leaned over to kiss him, her lips warm against his. "I want more, please," she whispered, the words that had become their loving refrain. Michael laughed softly, his heart full, "And more we shall have." Their lives continued to unfold on Thalos, each day a testament to their love and the rich tapestry of their combined cultures. Challenges remained, and the future was as vast and unknown as the universe itself, but they faced it together with courage and joy. In their story of love, adventure, and discovery, the phrase, "I want more, please," echoed not just as a request, but as a promise to always explore, to always cherish, and to always love, no matter the galaxies that spanned between or within them. As stars continued to wheel overhead in the alien sky, Michael and Lirael's love remained a constant, a point of light ever bright, ever enduring.